Good evening. You're watching the main news on HKIBC. I'm Raymond Yeung. Here are tonight's top stories. China rolls out the red carpet for Vladimir Putin as the Belt and Road Forum opens in Beijing. Locally, political parties launched their campaigns for the District Council elections. And there are growing appeals for action to avert a humanitarian crisis in the besieged Gaza Strip. World leaders have gathered in Beijing for a two-day forum marking the 10th anniversary of the Belt and Road Initiative, the brainchild of President Xi Jinping. Xi will deliver a keynote address tomorrow and meet his Russian counterpart Vladimir Putin. As dozens of world leaders arrived in China over the past few days, one particular guest was definitely worth rolling out the red carpet for by Beijing. Bodyguards watched on nervously as Vladimir Putin stepped off the plane and was greeted by Chinese officials on the tarmac. Essentially a global fugitive, the Russian president had not left his country after the International Criminal Court issued an arrest warrant for him in March over alleged war crimes in Ukraine. Putin's trip amid the circumstances underscored Russia's eagerness to maintain ties with its biggest ally. United Nations Chief Antonio Guterres is again one of the dignitaries at the Belt and Road Forum, having attended the two previous editions. President Xi Jinping delivers his keynote speech tomorrow, but he began his hectic schedule by meeting various leaders, including Hungarian Prime Minister Viktor Orban. Chief Executive John Lee, who's leading a 70-strong delegation of SAR officials and business leaders, urged entrepreneurs around the world to set up shop in Hong Kong. Speaking in Putonghua, Lee underlined the SAR's role as a participant, facilitator, and beneficiary of the initiative.
人工智能、电子商务、新能源等方面的合作。
In his opening remarks, Vice Premier He Lifeng called on participating nations and regions to explore opportunities and mutually beneficial projects under the initiative, which celebrated its 10th anniversary last month. Locally, parents have been urged to have their children vaccinated next month before the winter flu season begins. Health officials are worried that people are not paying too much attention to flu after focusing on COVID prevention. Janice Yu reports.
With the winter flu season set to begin in January, parents have been urged to get their children vaccinated as soon as possible because it takes at least 2 weeks before the jabs become effective.
This is actually a golden opportunity for the children to get the vaccine, because especially for children age of 9 or below who have never received a vaccine before, they need to get 2 doses of a flu vaccine, which needs to be taken 4 weeks apart.
The vaccines offer protection of up to 70% from the H1N1 virus. There have been 21 serious cases of flu among children so far this year. 5 of the victims died.
We think that's because the immunity of the children is lower than the general population. And you can see also a very important point is that not only those children with a long-term illness, but also those healthy children might also develop severe complications associated with seasonal influenza.
Students can get flu shots through the government's vaccination subsidy scheme. The first stage is already open to eligible groups, including those between 6 months and 18 years. As Hong Kong approaches the first winter flu season after mask mandates were dropped, doctors urged parents to be extra cautious and to take their children to flu shots. Janice Yu, HKIBC.
Former District Councilor Chu Kong-wei has been arrested on suspicion of promoting a mandatory Provident Fund pension plan without being properly registered. Police today escorted Chu to an office in Manulife Place on Kwun Tong Road and 2 other premises to gather evidence. Chu was a member of the Yaoqing District Council, but lost his seat 2 years ago after the government said he failed to pledge his loyalty. The MPF scheme's authority expressed concern over the pension plan claim. Election season is officially underway as political parties kicked off their campaign work for the district council race. While their strategies differ, the groups are united in calling on the government to do more to boost voter turnout. Backed by political heavyweights, 9 aspirants from the DAB party turned up at the Home Affairs Department's office in Central to submit their nomination forms. The city's largest political group is fielding 122 members for December's district council elections, with 44 of them running in the directly elected geographical constituencies. Chairman Gary Chan said it is time to re-establish the many functions of the district bodies which have stalled in the past few years. He added his party colleagues have had no issues earning nominations from the 3 district committees, partly because they're all staunch patriots. The Federation of Trade Unions, which is fielding 46 nominees, also staged a publicity stunt. In a test of their popularity, the unionist group wants to obtain more than half, or 25, of the seats in the geographical race. They included those who were beaten in the 2019 elections. Kowloon City North nominee Tang Ho Tong showed up as Hua Mulan, the Chinese folk heroine who went to battle in her father's place. Veteran lawmaker Priscilla Leung is not throwing her hat into the ring, but she was busy endorsing nominees from her group, the Business and Professionals Alliance. Responding to fears of a low turnout due to a lack of opposition voices, Leung asked people not to judge the district elections by the participation rate. She clarified her comments at a later event. I did not say voter turnout is not important, but it should not define whether the election is a success or not, she said. 4 women have been arrested on suspicion of animal cruelty after a cat was found hanging from a tree last Saturday. 3 foreign domestic workers and the 69-year-old owner of the cat were detained after police went through CCTV footage of the North Point Promenade Pet Garden. A worker at the park had made the grisly discovery and alerted police. An autopsy will be carried out to determine the exact cause of death and the cat's health before it died. Turning overseas, international relief groups have stepped up warnings of a worsening humanitarian crisis in the Gaza Strip as Israel continued to launch airstrikes against the enclave. Israel will get another pledge of support from its staunchest ally, the United States, tomorrow.
With the death toll in the Gaza crisis mounting, U.S. President Joe Biden is set to visit Israel tomorrow.
The President will reaffirm the United States' solidarity with Israel and our ironclad commitment to its security. Second, President Biden will underscore our crystal clear message to any actor, state or non-state, trying to take advantage of this crisis to attack Israel. Don't.
Iran, which backs the Palestinian group Hamas, has warned of preemptive action if Israel continues what Tehran calls war crimes against the Palestinians trapped in the Gaza Strip. Hamas triggered shockwaves 11 days ago when its fighters poured into Israel and killed 1,300 people. Israel retaliated by bombarding Gaza since then and cutting off food, water, and electricity to the besieged enclave. The Palestinian death toll has climbed to more than 2,800, a quarter of them children. Israel has ordered more than 1 million Palestinians to flee to the south ahead of an offensive against Hamas, which is holding about 200 hostages.
More than half of the population in Gaza are very young, under the age of 16. They are children. Those people who find it very difficult also to move, but who are also witnessing that even those people who have moved to the south are risking their lives. There has been bombardments of convoys evacuating to the south. There is no safe place in the whole of Gaza Strip.
Famished Palestinians have been clamoring for bread as they waited desperately for the opening of the Rafah crossing to Egypt. At the United Nations Security Council, Russia's call for a humanitarian ceasefire was rejected by the US and Britain because Moscow did not condemn Hamas. As Israel's military buildup continued along the Gaza border, calls for a humanitarian mission have intensified.
Police in Belgium have killed a man who fatally shot 2 Swedes and wounded a 3rd person in the capital, Brussels. Abdesalem Lassoud was gunned down in a cafe after an overnight manhunt. Officers said he had an automatic rifle that had been fired earlier. The 45-year-old Tunisian had posted a video online claiming responsibility for the killings. The shooting prompted Belgian authorities to issue their highest terror alert. A Euro 2024 qualifier between Belgium and Sweden was abandoned midway, and football fans had to stay inside the stadium before the all clear was given after 2 hours. Hong Kong's de facto central bank says the local currencies pegged to the US dollar will stay. Speaking on the 40th anniversary of the linked exchange rate system, Monetary Authority Chief Executive Eddie Yu said the peg has helped Hong Kong weather several shocks and crises. The link was introduced in 1983 to restore public confidence in the Hong Kong dollar during the Sino-British negotiations on the city's handover in 1997. Since then, some financial experts said the local unit should be delinked from the greenback, citing the growing usage of the yuan and high US interest rates. Now let's take a look at the markets. The Hang Seng Index ended the day up by 132 points. The top 10 active stocks, Tencent picked up $1. The tracker fund was up 13 cents, while Alibaba was up 70 cents. Meituan was up 80 cents. AIA was up by $1.10, while CCB was up 5 cents. The forex trading against the Hong Kong dollar, the euro's at 8.27. 1,000 Japanese yen will get you 52 Hong Kong dollars, while the Australian dollar is at 4.97. Over in Europe, the London FTSE is currently up 27 points. Finally, the weather. High chance of rain tomorrow with temperatures between 23 and 26 degrees. The wet conditions will ease towards the weekend. And that's our main news for Tuesday night. Join us for more news at 11. I'm Raymond Yeung. Good night.